A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Aftersought. So now, can the Alpha Strike really become a better lineup than what it already is known for? Its cheap build quality is one thing, but let's see if the Tiger can beat it all. Being that this is in fact a Spaz 12 lookalike, no, seriously. This part right here kind of reminds me of how the stock can fold over on a Spaz 12 Franke auto-loading shotgun. And for the record, its stacked double-barrel system looks pretty strange. But whatever the case is, this is kind of what Nerf's interpretation of a cheap build shotgun is like. Oh, okay. So I just want to point out really quick that sometimes my Alpha Strike Tiger right here can actually buckshot sometimes, as in normally it could fire both shots at once, and somehow that's actually a common occurrence in some Alpha Strike blasters out there, being that because of their build quality, because of their functionality being somewhat cheaply made, and the lack of screws is probably another thing. I guess I should imply really quickly that the Tiger itself, while it is in fact just a cheaply made shotgun in and of itself, I will say that there are in fact quite a few things that seem to be a lot better for this one compared to many of the others here. The Fang was pretty good because of its satisfying feel for the most part, but a lot of the other things was just bad. Really bad. I mean, the cheap build quality is one thing. The fact that you could easily take this thing apart would be another thing. And a third con that I can identify as well. The yellow and orange, that's cheap. That is like real cheap right there. I mean, it's good that they were able to feature the Nerf logo on there, just in case you didn't already know that this was in fact a Nerf blaster. But, you know, I guess it's kind of a mandatory thing for me, but let's give ourselves a little invisible attest. I'd say it works pretty good this way. Oh my gosh, yep. That's how powerful they are, so mind you, that's quite dangerous in any way, so I quite honestly wouldn't necessarily recommend to use the Invisibullet or even just your simple illegally modded dart in any single way, but I will say that for something that you can get in a multi-pack, this probably would be worth your money in most ways, but quite honestly, it's like a game at roulette. A game of chance to determine whether or not you're going to get a good version of this, or if you're just going to get a crappy version of this. Because, I don't know, there just has been some others out there, on YouTube especially, that have talked about the Alpha Strike Tiger in its finest, if you will, in which that sometimes it doesn't really perform the way you probably would expect. Sometimes the cheap build cost kind of gets to you pretty quickly, and it almost feels like it's going to break down or something like that. The plastic that it usually is made of could probably lead to damage at some point, although in my case, it's not going to happen for a long time. I mean, the somewhat honeycomb design and grip is another really big thing to expect in Alpha Strike blasters, but not all Alpha Strike blasters have this kind of grip. Some of them were made differently, but that's all depending on which version of the blasters that you're getting. Whether if it's an American release or if it's outside of American, or of course if the multi-packs are another big thing that you could probably look out for. But all in all, the Alpha Strike Tiger, it simply bests most of the other blasters in the lineup itself. However, in more recent times, we were able to pick up some better blasters out there for this lineup. As cheap as they may be, or may not be, the Alpha Strike lineup actually has gotten consistently better over time. And many of us have pretty much let go of all of the cons that would pretty much put up against the lineup itself, because this is a horrible thing right there. No doubt about it. And the internals are also a bit questionable for most of us, but in general, I'd say it's been getting better. Coming soon, I will talk a little bit more about the Alpha Strike lineup in general and some of the other blasters that is featured in it. But also, there will be some more to come here. And next one is going to be kind of small. Really small. But until then, if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.